All right, SoFi investors, it is that time of the night to talk about SoFi. Now, SoFi was interesting today. SoFi was up 1.5%, whereas the NASDAQ was up 3.5%. And I want to go over why that is, and it comes down to the catalyst that is coming out in the morning, the CPI data, the Consumer Price Index, the measurement of inflation, and why that directly ties into SoFi more than other stocks. I also want to go over why the broad markets rallied today. Why was the NASDAQ up 3.5%? What should we expect from the CPI data? Are we going to buy the dip tomorrow in SoFi? Are we going to ride the rip? I want to give you guys my opinions on that, and also why oil had one of its worst days we have ever seen in the history of oil commodity trading, and how that does also affect the markets. And as always, we will go over the option flows for SoFi, the short interest, we will go over the technical analysis, and much more. So hit that like button if you guys have not already, as well as subscribe to the channel. Only about 12% of you guys are subscribed, and you definitely want to see these videos because we not only go over SoFi, but we go over the broad markets, because the broad markets will affect SoFi and do affect SoFi, like we will talk about here in this video. So you guys can find a lot of value in different aspects of these videos, and I hope you guys truly do. Thank you guys for doing that. Also, if you guys want to directly support the channel, I've seen a couple comments where people do want to support the channel and keep making these videos possible. Get yourself free stock, link down below in the description. Sign up with Webull, deposit $100 and you will get 10 free stocks. I also do get 2 free stocks, so check that out if you guys have not already. Moomoo, same thing, deposit $100, get 4 free stocks. And also with Public, no need to deposit a single dollar, just sign up and get yourself a free share there. So let's get into what happened today. First and foremost, what happened with SoFi? SoFi was up 1.54%, better than a negative day, but not nearly as good as some other stocks did, like the NASDAQ up 3.59%, even comparatives to Square, right? I like to compare Square, or SoFi, to Square and PayPal. And Square was up about 12%, PayPal up over 5%. So what happened with SoFi? Well, it comes down to, I think the strategy hedge funds are doing is buying Square, buying PayPal, shorting SoFi, because SoFi has a lot more to lose or potentially gain from a high or low CPI number that comes out tomorrow morning. And let me briefly explain that to you guys. So Square and PayPal have aspects that are like SoFi, but they are more just payment processors, where SoFi is the fintech, right? You could do the same things you can with Square or PayPal, but SoFi has a lot more lending products in their portfolio. They have a lot more in general than Square and PayPal. So that works to the positive, but it also works to the negative side as well, because if CPI is high, investors will expect the Fed to raise rates at a faster pace, which will somewhat kill demand for SoFi's lending products. Good thing with SoFi is they are branching out into more of their investing platform. They're going to be adding options trading, which I think is going to be a game changer. But nonetheless, they spend a lot of money. They did have good earnings, and we're talking about SoFi here, and they are fast growing, significantly undervalued in my opinion as well, but they will have more to lose because they are not profitable if the CPI number does come in high. But the markets, they did not care about this expected high CPI number that is going to come out tomorrow. And I think broadly based, it was a lot of shorts that scrambled to cover today. As we can see from SoFi option flows, just not a lot as far as dollar amounts are concerned for the day. 6 orders totaling $938.79 positive order value of 44%. If you look at any stock, even if you look at Apple, you're not seeing a huge dollar amount as far as options are concerned for the day. So I think it was just straight up a lot of covering from institutional investors. And then you did see a sell-off kind of towards the end of the day. Right here, you've seen a bit of a sell-off. Same thing with SoFi as well. You did see that a slight sell-off at the last couple of minutes, but overall we just didn't do as well as some other stocks. And you actually did see a bounce here at about 2 p.m. and a little rally throughout the rest of the day. But nonetheless, that is what happened today, and why SoFi is really going to be positively or negatively impacted more than a lot of its competitors from this CPI data. Now, as far as what actually ripped the markets today, it is this, that Russia announces new ceasefire in Ukraine. It says the ceasefire the ceasefire follows a similar announcement on Tuesday when Russia said it would allow Ukrainian civilians to pass safely through Chernihiv, Sumy, Mariupol, Kyiv, and Kharkiv. However, the only safe corridor allowing people to leave was open in Sumy on Tuesday. And it does say this is a 12-hour ceasefire from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. to allow that safe passage. So it looks like it's somewhat being honored. There was reports of shelling, but the markets did not care about that all too much. What really happened as well, why the markets did see this as a huge step to end the fighting, was actually the fact that Zelensky came out and said that only direct contact between presidents can end the war. And he says, Ukraine, Zelensky says, other side also needs to compromise, and that Ukraine is prepared for certain compromises. So, you're not getting that just full tug of war going on. You're kind of starting to see a little bit of compromises or talks of potential compromises, at least on Ukraine's side. On the Russian side, I don't really think it's going to go anywhere because they've already lost their whole economy. It's in shambles. If they don't make significant grounds as far as taking all of Ukraine or really installing that puppet government, then they essentially lost on both sides. If you're going to take a big loss to your economy, lose 35%, make people hate you, I mean, you can't even get a McDouble or a Big Mac in Russia now. Russia just started getting a lot of these things, these kind of restaurants, in the last 10 to 30 years, pretty much right after the Soviet Union collapsed, and after that in 1991. And now everything got taken away from them. You can't buy an iPhone in Russia. You can't buy an AMD processor. What's in my computer right now? You can't get a NVIDIA product. You can't really get anything if you're in Russia. You can't even get a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi product or Lay's potato chips. You can't get shit. So you really have to win this side. If you're Russia, you have to win the war. Inevitably to even make it make any kind of sense, which is still doesn't make sense no matter which way you put it. But that's why the markets did rally today, and that was definitely seen as a very positive thing. Just to reiterate, yet again, 8:30 in the morning is going to be a lot of data that is coming out. The core CPI month over month, that is a high expected volatility event. Continuing jobless claims, not as much, but still, this is all going to have a roll together in a weird way. Core CPI year over year, as well as you do have initial jobless claims, which is a high volatility expected catalyst. So you are seeing, or you will see, a lot of volatility in the morning, so be fully prepared for that. If CPI comes in low, then SoFi is going to rally. I don't know if you guys got kids watching, so I kind of want to not cuss as much, but we are going to effing fly. We're going to rally. You're going to ride the rip like a huge surf wave in Hawaii. You're going to watch something incredible happen for SoFi. A 10% positive day, definitely not out of the table, or even a 20% positive day, but it doesn't look very likely due to all of the commodities that are starting to fly. But investors, they might take out certain parts. Like if you see less actual inflation from the American side, from the side that we can control, but you're seeing oil going up, you're seeing food prices going up, people might not care about that as much, or investors I should say, because that should be temporary, as commodities tend to go down over time, but they tend to fluctuate a lot in the short term. So you might actually get a high number reading, but you could see some aspects of the report that are incredibly bullish. If CPI comes in lower, people will expect, or I keep saying people, but investors will expect less rate hikes or a potential more dovish Fed. If it comes in higher, they will probably expect a more hawkish Fed, a Fed that wants to raise rates possibly faster or more aggressively. So let's get into the SoFi specific data. The short interest is sitting at 17.83%. Current shares that are sold short, 129.4 million. Cost to borrow max at 5.32%. And hedge funds and institutions are not lending out any stock. It's still at 100% utilization. So that is a very bullish and positive correlation, because hedge funds are not willing to lend out their stock for 5%. What are they willing to lend out their stock for? 10%, 15, 20%? I have a feeling we will see that very shortly. The higher cost to borrow max goes, and the longer the utilization stays at 100%, that's just showing you how bullish the holders of SoFi actually are. Now, I do also want to point out why oil did fall so much today, and that is because the overall bullishness in the markets. You tend to see commodities inverse stocks. So if stocks are up, you tend to see commodities down. If commodities are up, you tend to see stocks down. But we did get a lot of news about OPEC, and basically some countries are saying that they would support producing more oil, and they will bring that to OPEC's attention once that obviously does, once they get their next meeting. I can't find it. Hold on here. Okay, it says OPEC will aim to make market balance. OPEC Plus will discuss supply decision at next meeting. OPEC are the oil producing countries, and just the announcement that they have come to an agreement. They will pump X amount of barrels additional per month. That will definitely send the price of oil down. And you're all kind of already pricing that in right now, because you did see that 11-12% drop across the board for oil. So pretty interesting right there. Wanted to point that out for anybody that is in the oil trade. As far as the max Payne is concerned for SoFi stock, and if you guys are unfamiliar, this is where the hedge funds get the most amount of money by pinning a stock at this price by the expiration. And by Friday, $10 per share. That's the max Payne. That's really where markets are going to try to pin SoFi stock. So pretty interesting right there. That is pretty much all you guys do need to know. Let's take a look at the quick technicals, and you guys already probably know the spiel on this. $10 per share. That is kind of the resistance level right now. It was the support level, but I really don't see us falling too far under this. If we have a really bad number tomorrow, it's possible we could go to 8 for a brief period, but I think we would bounce back up, and we wouldn't stay down there for all too long. So watch that $10 level. If we break out above that, the 13-day moving average is $10.51 per share, $11.20 per share for the 20-day simple moving average, which is the most important one. So about $1.40 move to the upside, and we're gonna start talking about a potential breakout. It would look very nice in that scenario. $14 per share, that is the key level that we really have to break out above to even talk about retesting that $20 to $25 range. The MACD is slightly on the bearish side, but it's been back and forth. It's not really too bearish or too bullish. It really hasn't been for a while. The RSI, the relative strength index, is on the lower end range, so definitely on the oversold side of town, and that could be a big reason for the stock to bounce tomorrow if we do get a reason from the CPI data that does come out. So as far as what I plan to actually do with my position, I do plan to buy a ton of shares if we do fall substantially under $10 per share. If we do go up, then I probably won't add too many, but I am looking to add something, because this is going to be the biggest catalyst until that March 16th Fed FOMC meeting. So that is going to be all for this video. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and get yourself free stocks. Links down below in the description. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.